crisis sa bansa at ang mga hakbang na ginagawa ng pamahalaan laban sa pandemya. Mula sa Pangulo ng Republika ng Pilipinas, Mayor Rodrigo Duterte. Ito ang Talk to the People on COVID-19.
Allow me to greet the Filipino people na sana lahat tayo ay nasa mabuting sitwasyon sa kamay ng Diyos at we continue to exist nowadays, not live, but exist because we are fighting a deadly enemy. Ang COVID virus is still around, and the reason why is there is less ratio and proportion between other countries. Mababa talaga tayo. You should know that. And wag ko sana kayong maniwala dyan sa mga dilawan, opposition, na hampas dito, hampas doon, kung anong pinagsasabi. For as long as the virus lives in this planet, we are put in real danger. Kayo naman, kung maniwala kayo, you get to be despondent or sa buhay. Put more stress. Huwag po kayong maniwala dito lang. Kami dito lahat, Senator Go, Secretary Galvez, Secretary Roque, Secretary Lorenzana, Secretary Anyo, we are not here. We did not join government to lie. We do not have any obligation at all to lie. Bakit kami magsinungaling na hindi namin trabaho yan at hindi naman kami pumasok sa trabaho para yan lang magsinungaling? Baski grade 1, grade 2, alam na namin kung ano ang pagmamahal sa bayan. So I hope that everybody would listen to reason. Makinig kayo sa rason. Huwag yan basta na lang maniwala ka na ganito. Ganun talaga. Na, sabihin ninyo, lumaki ngayon. Well, because nga noon, sinira natin lahat. We thought that we had everybody covered by staying inside the house. Like to welcome Secretary Duque. Sabi ko, protected sana tayo, but lahat. Ngayon kung may sipon ka, tapos maglagay ka, baski sino, ipasa mo. Hindi mo akalain, driver lang nga nagpasa sa iyo. Nagkukommute yan. Tapos sa jeep umaatsing. Tapos yung droplets are flying all over. Pagdating doon sa inyo, mag-drive. Ganun yan. Di ba matamaan ka? Sabihin mo, mayaman naman ako, malinis ako, puro alcohol. Ganun. Mas lalo ka. Kung yan ang rason mo sa hindi ka tatamaan kasi mayabang ka, bahala ka sa buhay mo. O yung mga, alam mo na, yung kinakausap ko lang yung ka-level ko. Yung nakakaintindi ng rason. And to listen to us and do the things that we want them to do, ayan ang medyo malibre. We cannot be complacent. I said by December, there will be some, I think, trials. No, ganito ha. If the vaccine of Russia and China are equally good and effective, just like any other vaccine invented by any country, I will buy first. But then, alam mo, I hope that the Chinese and Russian government, that when we buy, we have to go into a bidding. So, the Russian and the pharmaceutical companies of China can very well join us. Sinabi ko yan kasi noong naghirap tayo and there was nothing at all in sight. Sa paningin natin, we were aimlessly para tayong barko na matayan ng makina. So we were drifting in a station at tapos dumating itong not really, bagyo. Ang walang ibang bayan na tumulong sa atin. But the only country that offered to help initially, as a donatory, when we invent one, we'd give you, was Russia, then China. China naman, the one good thing about China is you do not have to beg. You do not have to plead. Like in other countries, they want cash advance bago tayo deliveran ng vaccine. Kung ganon, patay tayong lahat. Every Filipino will die. I can assure you. Why? Kung wala tayong ibigay sa kanila cash advance, di walang vaccine. Di walang vaccine, di maghalika na lang tayo lahat para mas madali. That's I said one thing wrong with itong Western companies. Kaya sabi ko, we will give preference to Russia and China, provided that their vaccine is as good as any other in the market. It could be as good as yung mga kumpanya sinabi nila, hindi ko sasabihin, baka na magpapa-advertise sila. That's one thing wrong about the Western countries. It's all profit, profit, profit. Imagine there's a pandemic, and you say that, okay, we have something for sale or something to sell to you, and marinig mo, maligaya ka, only to be only to collapse when the next sentence is said, pero magbayad kayo ng cash advance bago kami magpada. Hindi pa nga eh. Nagkamali ako. Wala pa. Now, they are asking for parang reservation fee. Wala pa sila. Sabi nila, pag na-imbento na ito, natapos na namin yung trials, but anyway, they're really on the advanced stage of the clinical trials. Pero kung sabihin mo na, sige, wala pa yung vaccine, there is nothing with finality, and you want us to make a reservation by depositing money, you must be crazy. Hindi ako bakit ako bili ng ganong style. Because the procurement law of the Philippines, this country, does not allow you to buy something which is non-existent or to be produced as yet. It's a very exacting law, and you must always reckon with prosecution and going to jail. But bakit ka naman bakit ka naman magbayad na wala dyan? Talagang, if the companies are here, are representatives, mag-uwi na kayo sa inyo pag sipain ko kayong makita ko kayo sa If I happen to have dinner outside and see you somewhere in the hotels, I'll kick your ass. But bastusin ko kayo, umuwi kayo doon sa inyo, magyaw-yaw kayo. Mga buang, Bisaya, binuang. Ilad. Di man noon ilad, kaya na gina-produce, pero i-produce pa niya. So, actually, at the end of the day, what happens is that they want you to finance the research and the perfection of the vaccine. Kitay mo gasto sa ilang pag-invento o pagtrabaho sa ilang vaccine. Mupalit niya ako sa ila, itusok na ako ang vaccine sa ilang utok. May mga gago, mga buang. Better get out of this country, we don't need you. There are so many things again to discuss. Maybe Secretary Duque would want to take the first slot.
Allow me to present once again the updates on COVID-19 ngayon po nakaraan linggo. As of September 14, may nadagdag na mahigit 3,000 kaso, mga 4,699 new cases. Sa nadagdag na 4,699 cases, 4,090 are fresh cases at 600 are late cases. Sa 4,090 fresh cases na naitala, 1,102 ay mula sa NCR, 830 sa Region 4A, 486 sa Region 3, 127 sa Region 6 at 1,545 sa mga natitirang rehiyon. Sa 609 late cases naman, 396 ay mula po sa NCR at 106 sa Region 4A, 31 sa Region 3, 22 sa Region 4B at 54 sa mga natitirang rehiyon. May bagong naitalang higit 200 at binawian ng buhay at ang ating case fatality rate ngayon ay bahagyang tumaas to 1.7%. Nakapagtala naman tayo ng mahigit 20,000 recoveries kahapon. Mataas po ito, 392 from reports at 20,080 time-based recoveries at 249 or 249 na recoveries for today. Ang ating total recoveries ay pumalo na sa 184,906, Mr. President. Ang active cases naman ay 53,754. Sa mga ito, 4,402 or 8.19% ay mga asymptomatic at 47,526 or 89% ay mild cases. Patuloy po ang pababa ng trend ng confirmed COVID-19 cases sa ating mga health workers mula sa 23%. Napakataas po noong Abril na hindi po tayo nakapaghanda o kulang po ang ating kahandaan ng mga panahon iyon. Ngayon po ay nasa 3.1% ng total cases na lamang ang ating rate of infection among healthcare workers. Sa nakalipas na linggo, ang ating pong moving average para sa mga naisasagawang test ng ating laboratories ay nasa 36,922. Ang ating daily output naman po for the past week ay umabot na ng mahigit 30,000 tests per day. Ang ating daily testing output ay pinakamataas po ay naabot natin last Friday, September 11. Umabot po ng 42,258 tests ang naisagawa. Ito po ang pinakamataas na naitala sa isang araw mula nung nagsimula tayong magsagawa ng test sa bansa. As of September 12, nakapag-conduct po tayo ng 3,086,213 total tests. Sa mga ito, 306,756 ang nagpositibo at ang ating cumulative positivity rate ay 10.6%.
Salamat, Secretary Duque. It was a very informative one. But what struck my attention was ito sanang appeal to private hospitals to increase the number of beds dedicated to COVID patients. Kung sana ho matagdagan ninyo, you're only about 12, I think.
Yes, sir.
12 lang. Of the 7,087, ang COVID beds is 19, comprised of 12. Madagdagan lang ho sana ninyo. Because still, the numbers are increasing. The infections vary. In some cases, and in some provinces or cities, there's a fast recovery rate, while others are lagging behind. And probably this is because of yung prior infection na hindi na-detect during the height of the pandemic. So, meron pang noong naiwan, baka ho kayo makatulong talaga sa bayan. I am appealing this for the country and for the people. Alam naman ninyo na hindi lang tayo ang tinamaan. So, your help will go a long way to remember, everybody will remember someday that there was this great epidemic that passed by our lives, and we were able to deal it with a lot of mutual help and pagpatulong ng kababayan. Thank you. Secretary Anyo, if you have anything to report, we are ready to listen to you.
Maraming salamat po, mahal na Pangulo. Nais ko lamang po i-report sa mga status po ng cases na ating iniimbestigahan dahil po dito sa anomaly sa SAP. Sa ating pong administrative cases, 357 cases po ang iniimbestigahan against 416 barangay officials. At 93 po ay naisabit natin sa ombudsman, at magandang balita nga po, last week po ay 89 na barangay captain ang tinatawan ng preventive suspension for 6 months. So ito po ay magandang sample po para maipakita na talagang hindi po natin pinupunti ang ating tinatawag na corruption. Sa criminal cases naman po, ay 259 cases na po ang na-file natin sa prosecutor para po sila ay managot sa batas natin. Pangalawa po, nais ko magpasalamat sa inyong paglabda sa Bayanihan to Recover as One or Bayanihan to RA 11494. Nabigyan po ng pondo ang DOLG ng 5 billion para po mag-hire ng 50,000 contact tracers. At ito po ay ibibigay natin sa lahat ng mga reyon. Ang pinakamataas po na binigyan natin dahil sa kanilang pangangailangan, ang National Capital Region na merong 9,600, ang Region 3 po na merong 5,992, at ang Calabarzon na merong 4,810. At bibigyan po natin ng priority na ma-employ ang mga qualified na OFWs po na nakapalik sa atin. At na rin po yung mga na-displaced workers natin na wala ng trabaho, pero qualified naman po, ay gagawin natin contact tracer. Sila po ay ititrain natin at ipadadala sa mga mas nangangailangan lugar. So yun lamang po ang maiulat ko at maraming salamat po sa inyong paglabda sa ating bayanihan to, mahal na Pangulo.
Thank you, Secretary Anyo. Can we hear Secretary Lorizana now?
Good evening, Mr. President. Naigsing ulat lang po ito doon sa ating isang importanteng pinagkakaabalahan natin, yung pagpapauwi ng mga OFWs at saka yung ating mga kababayan na nasa Sabah. As of yesterday po, meron ng 200,431 na napauwing mga OFWs mula sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo. Ayon kay Secretary Bello, meron pa tayong inaasahang 80,000 na uuwi ngayong taon na to. So, yun po ang ating pagkakaabalahan din. Yun po galing sa Sabah, yung pong panglimang batch nang galing sa Sabah ay darating sa Lunes, 400 po ito. Pag dumating po yun na meron ng mga 2,000 na dumating, meron pa tayong 3,000 na nandoon, naghihintay po ng tulong para umuwi dito sa atin. Yun lang po, Mahal na Pangulo.
Thank you, Secretary Lorenzana. Meron akong just food for thought for everybody. Now, in so many places around the world where Filipinos are working, are there, some are still in the limbo. Hindi na alam kung saan sila pupunta. And makauwi pa ba sila o hindi? There are Filipinos who are itong mga seafarers. Karamihan ito na stranded, na iwan sa barko, and they were not allowed to dock or magdiskarga ng intended cargoes nila for a certain destination because of COVID. And they were contaminated, and some who were not escaped, and others were just stayed in the ships and just buried all. Ito yung mga Pilipino na minsan may nabasa ako 2 years, 3 years na nasa labas, hindi makauwi. Now, I would like to direct the Foreign Affairs Department, yung mga commercial attaché natin, and even the police, we have police and military guys who are assigned in the different embassies. Kindly check and do a validation report kung meron bang mga Pilipino na stranded sa inyong lugar. In the area of your responsibility in other countries where you are assigned, I'd like you to check kung go around if there are Filipinos who are stranded in the different ships who are at nasa dagat. Hindi yan sila sa port. They are not, I forgot the term of, they have not been able to dock at bumaba. Itinaboy sila. Sa Tagalog, itinaboy sila at they are floating just like flotsam. Floating without really knowing what is tomorrow for them. So nakaawa naman ito, and it pains me to realize that nandito ako, and I cannot help Filipinos who are struggling even just to exist and not live. You live one day at a time doon. Kindly check on this and maybe we can also request your corresponding requests to the government, the home government ninyo. Pakigawa na lang that all you can, whatever that effort is, try to just go out and help the Filipinos. Sana ay nakakaawa, and a human being should never be a commodity that's just left behind to rot. These are human beings and Filipinos, both on the southern back door or kung dito sa ano. Now, I'm happy to hear from Secretary Galvez that they are coming home. Some of them from Sabah. Yan, malaman doon din. Even the issue of hospital care. That has been a very ticklish issue between our government, and we're trying our best to appeal to the humanitarian sense of the Malaysian government to please help our citizens in your country, as we would do for your citizens if they are in our country. Sunod nito is Secretary.
Sir, in addition, sir, on the presentation of Secretary Duque, magbibigay lang po ako ng ulat sa ating Oplan Kalinga, yung mga ginagawa po natin na aggressive isolations po ng mga positive cases, lalo na po, sir, sa mga bahayan na hindi po kaya po yung magkaroon po ng home quarantine. Sa kabuuan po, mayroon na po tayong 79 hotels sa ating inventaryo na may 7,114 beds na maaaring gamitin para sa isolation. At nagpapasalamat po kami sa inyo po, Mr. President, dahil sa Bayanihan 2, meron po tayong makaka-allocate na 4.5 billion para sa pagpatayo at saka paggamit po sa mga hotels na to. Na nakita po namin, matutulungan po na meron po tayo naka-allocate na 128,000 na possible positive cases na pwede po nating ilagay sa mga hotel. Kinumpute po namin po ito na lahat po nito magkakaroon ng 14-day quarantine po sa hotel. And then ngayon po sa ating mga treatment, ongoing po ang construction ng DPWH sa pamumuno po ni Sec Mark Villar at Yusek Sadain. Meron po tayo 1,006 na additional COVID-dedicated hospital beds by November 2020. So talaga pong pinapabilisan po ang mga construction po nito. At yung East Avenue Medical Center, yung 250 na dedicated beds for COVID ay na-turnover na po at nagbigay po ng more or less 47 million si Mr. Manny Pangilinan para po mabigyan po ng mga equipment. Yung po na-turnover po yun sa last week po, kasama po kami sa East Avenue po, na-turnover po yun, na ibinigay po yung mga equipment. Dahil 250 po na additional po yun na beds po yun, kasama po ang more or less 25 na ICU beds. And then nagko-construct din po tayo ng 200 beds sa Rizal Medical Center. At meron din po tayong ginagawa sa UP Philippine General Hospital. At ang pati po yung Batangas Medical Center. At ang ating ang ating Bayanihan 2 Recover as One ay nag-allocate din po ng 4.5 na pagpapatayo po ng medical isolation and quarantine facilities, mga field hospitals, dormitories for frontliners para po magpapalawig sa kapasidad ng ating ospital sa gobyerno sa buong bansa. At tinitingnan po din po natin kasi sa ngayon po, Mr. President, kahit po yung non-COVID cases po, tinitingnan po din po natin. ayon po sa datos, meron po tayong top 10 leading causes of death in the Philippines. At nakita po natin dito yung heart disease, yung cancer, chronic respiratory at diabetes. So yun po, pinagpaplanuhan po namin nila Yusek Vega dahil po sa ating datos noong March at saka April, times 4 po ang casualty po natin sa mga non-COVID cases. Kaya ang ginagawa po natin sa estratehiya po natin ay pinalalakas din po natin ang preparation po natin sa mga renal patient. Katulad ng ginawa po natin sa Cebu, nagpatayo po tayo ng 20 na machines doon po sa Cebu at mabibigyan po ng license to operate na po yung 20 renal machines na pwede po magamit. At sinabi nga po ni Mayor Labella na more than 1,600 po na renal patients po ang pwede pong gumamit doon. So ito po ang tinitingnan po natin talaga na nakita po natin na dapat po talaga, mahal na Presidente, palakasin po natin talaga ang mga hospital natin po na nakatutok po dito sa sa mga tinatawag natin 10 leading causes of death para po maging prepared po din tayo na yung mga non-COVID cases ay maalalayan din po natin. Kasi lalo na po ngayon na talagang sa hirap po ng yung mga pasyente natatakot ay talagang napakahirap po na pumunta sa ospital. Maganda po ang ginawa po sa Davao nung si Mayor Sara na nagkaroon po siya ng desisyon na iba po yung COVID cases at saka yung sa non-COVID. So yung sa Southern Philippines Medical Center na 1,500 bed po yun. Mahal na Pangulo, maganda po makapagpagawa po tayo ng ganong klase ng mga ospital sa iba-ibang mga main island po. Kasi nakikita po natin, kompleto po yun. Meron pong Kidney Institute, merong Cancer Institute, meron pong kailangan po talaga, ako po, Mr. President, on my personal opinion, kailangan na po natin i-modernize ang ating healthcare system. Matagal na po napabayaan po yung ating healthcare system, kaya po, ito po nakikita po natin na malaki ang gap ngayon na nating hinaharap at nagmalapit po ako kay Senator Bongo na talagang ipus po sa Senado na i-modernize po natin ang DOH. High time po na i-modernize po natin kasi katulad po ng lung center, may biruan po nga doon yung lung center is isa lang po yung baga kasi yung isang annex hindi po nagagawa. So we need to modernize our special hospitals considering ito po talaga nakikita natin sa datos po na number of death every year tumataas po, mas mataas pa po sa COVID.
Salamat ho, mahal na Secretary. Mahal mo ako, mahal rin kita. Yan ang sa Tagalog, that's a peculiar, it's not, mga Bisaya, hindi masyado na but mga Tagalog ganun. So, I ask you before, kayong lahat na huwag gamitin sa akin yan. And you just address me as mayor para mas madali yung freewheeling tayo. When you say mayor, hindi masyado mabigat sa dila yung lalo na yung presidente na hindi nakikinig. There was this Tokyo film, short film, using contrivances na makikita mo ang in a dark. Yung paano pag ubo yung tao, tapos yung makita mo yung droplets nga, tawag nila, spread. It's about 6 feet. Tapos more, kung walang ventilation, yung mas grabe. So, it reminded me, when I was reading the letter of Dr. Panaligan, that short clip of film that shown by the Japanese. Kung maaari, hiraman ko lang siguro. Secretary Doki, can you make representations with the Japanese government, the embassy?
Yes, Mr. President, I'll do that tomorrow.
Hiraman ko lang, hiraman natin for our added information. That's all.
Yes, Mr. President. And if you don't mind, Mr. President, na tanggalin ko lang po ito. Pinadala din po sa akin yung, baka napadala din po sa inyo ng Health Professionals Alliance Against COVID. Sila Panaligan po yan Dr. Panaligan, presidente ng Philippine College of Physicians, Mr. President. Sinasabi nila, kung babawasan yung isang metro to 0.75 meters, from 1 meter to 0.75, and at a 50% ridership. In other words, ang pasasakayan, 50% ng population. No? Dito sa NCR, ang death rate natin, new cases every day, will reach 686 per day. So if you multiply that by 30 days, you will have about 20,580 cases. Ito po, per day po yan. So yan po bagong kaso. If you multiply that by 1.6, which is our case fatality rate, meaning the number of deaths over the number of total infection, ang lalabas po rito will be 3,951 deaths per year. So, yan po yung bukas sasabihin ko sa IATF. The base po sa pag-aaral nitong AIM and HPAAC, and which consists of about 148 medical professional societies, para kwentas klaras ho. So whatever decision is made, at least malinaw na meron pong ganitong pag-aaral or modeling kung tawagin po, at meron din po naman, palagay ko, na mga iba na magpapakita din ng mga ibang pag-aaral naman na hindi po ganito kalala o kagrabe ang kanila pong projection. So bukas po malalaman po ito and we will give the recommendation, Mr. President.
Yes, Secretary Roque.
Yes, sir. Natanong po sa akin kanina yan, and I have to say, bagmat marami akong issue na hinaharap, medyo mahirap po ito kasi parang ang lumabas sa publiko, nagbanggaan po yung dalawang higante sa gabinete.
Kaya mo yan. Kaya kita kinuha.
Higante and the health department, no? Pinagsasabong silang dalawa. So, ang ginawa ko po, pumagitna na lang ako at ang sabi ko, in the end, si Presidente magde-decide po dyan. No? So, at nakabati po yan sa datos. Yan po yung sinabi ko kanina. Pero nais ko lang po sabihin ngayon, dalawa talaga yung mga pag-aaral. May mga modeling na ginagawa ng doktor ang sinasabing delikado, pero may pag-aaral naman yung mga transport sector na nagpapakita na with face shield and maskara, minimum naman daw yung
I agree with you.
Oo, so ang sabi ko na lang po kanina, anyway, hindi pa naman nasasabit sa inyo yan, titignan ni Presidente yung scientific data at from there mag-decision. So actually, yun po yung naging position ko ngayon dahil dalawang departamento, iba yung position nila. Pero in fairness din, Secretary Duque, ang sabi naman ng DOTR, kasi nung in-approve natin sa IATF, hindi naman nag-object yung mga taga-DOF, mga DOH.
Paano ko
Oo nga, pero may mga tao po kayo doon Kaya sabi naman ng DOTR, in fairness lang po, no? Kasi it was really approved by the IATF, pero wala namang objection yung DOH. At nandun din ako sa meeting, wala rin ako narinig na objection, no? So, anyway, 2 sets of scientific studies po ang binibigay nila So, in the end po, kayo magde-decide.
You know, you have to take into account physics. It's an everyday equation for humanity, civilization, physics. Ang problema kasi nitong sabi na shield, it's we're talking of direct transmission. Yung there is a continuous and no gaps na papasok sa tatama sa shield. But if you are riding in a bus on aircon or open, ang shield kasi would only protect you from a direct hit. But yung pag-ubo ng tao, tapos yung hangin sa, sa bus, pag pumasok na yung hangin dito, because the wind will guide kung saan yung virus. Pag dito sa dumaan, madala niya. But somehow, itong phase na ito, I think it's a fallacy to say that it will protect you from in every environment. Kasi pagkatapos niya ang hangin, dumadaan rin sa anywhere. It could be the aircon coming from the second seat would bring yung hangin papunta doon sa likod. Hindi naman that cannot be stopped by shield. Maybe ang mas talaga.
Yeah, Mr. President.
Yes, Secretary Galvez.
Sir, I believe it is a matter of risk management po, sir. Kasi ano po, sir, sa lahat po ng lahat po ng ginagawa natin, lahat po 'yan may risk. If we reduce the sir, the 1 meter sir to 0.75, meron po tayong gagawing po, sir, at tawag nating risk mitigation. One of those is yung proper ventilation, meaning yung po, sir, dapat nagsi-circulate yung hangin. And normally, yung MRT natin at saka mga ating mga mass transport ginagawa po. Sinisimulate po ni DOTR po yan. Nag-uusap-usap po kami na talagang bago po ipatakbuhin yung isang transport, mayroon pong ginagawa silang mga mitigation process. Kasama rin po yung tinatawag natin, sir, yung avoiding ng crowding. At the same time, kasi yung talaga, yung pinaka-importante talaga, sir, yung tatlong 3C. Avoid crowding, yung close contact, at saka yung confined spaces. And may mga instances po talaga na hindi natin talaga talaga yung 100% na yung 1 meter. Nakikita po naman natin na yung with the protections ng sir with mask and face shield. At saka importante po, sir, yung sir, no talking. Kasi pagka no talking, no droplet. No sir, talaga yan. So yun ang pinaka po natin sa transport na during no talking, no eating, at saka no using of cellphone. So, nakikita po natin sa ibang mga nag-evolve po yung yung ibang mga countries. And I think baka mamaya tayo na lang pong country ang masyadong very stringent sa 1 meter. Kasi po, yung iba po nakita po sa picture, I think Japan talagang dikit-dikit na po . Pero ang po nila is no talking, talagang sasakay lang. And then, talagang no using of cellphone, no eating. Ang pinaka po talaga natin sa sir, kung titingnan nyo sa mga hospital, ang pinaka-vulnerable po hindi transport. Ang pinaka-vulnerable po, bahay at saka sa community. Kasi tinatanggal po natin ang mask. When we are eating, when we are talking with our friends, when we are talking with our coworkers, ang pinaka-vulnerable po talaga na nakita namin is yung workplace, mga kantina po, at saka sa smoking places. Pero kung mga shuttles at saka po yung mga transport, if we will have a controlled po natin, kailangan po talaga kasi yung po natin talaga, ang transport is a vehicle for for recovery. Kung wala po talaga yung vehicles and also yung po natin, yung tinatawag po natin na yung transportation, we cannot recover po, Mr. President. At saka po ang nakikita po natin based dun sa study din, mas delikado rin po yung mga private cars dahil kasi air condition po ang ginagamit. Mas delikado po based doon sa mga study na nabasa po namin. Kasi tinitingnan po namin din yung pros and cons. Ang nakikita po natin kasi pagka masyado tayong, ito sir sa amin sir, as a manager, as a system analyst na katulad po natin, hindi rin po maganda yung risk aversion. Kasi pagka masyado mag-risk averse po tayo sir, hindi tayo kailangan po, pwede lang tinatawag natin kasi system analysis, magkaroon tayo ng simulation. So, ginagawa naman po ni Secretary Tugadi yung mga simulations . Ginamit niya sa PNR, yung Philippine National Railways, ginamit niya po yung mga simulations niya. Kaya nga, sa ITF natin, supposed to be 0.5. So, i-simulate muna po yung paunti-unti. Basta ang pinaka po talaga is, po talaga yung standard na no talking, no eating, no removing of face mask. Palagi po sir, kaya po nating i-mitigate po. Though yung numbers po na yon, yung kayang tinatanong nga po ni Secretary Dairit, na yung 500 po na yon ay sinasabi na yung additional wala silang reference. Doon kunya for example, ilan ba ang may impact kung 1 meter. So hindi po natin nakita yung increment between 1 meter at saka yung 0.5. And we believe nakita po rin natin na marireduce din po yung nakita namin sa aming operations. Marireduce po ang transmission po natin talaga. Kung magiging strict po tayo talaga na yung lahat ng mga positive, i-isolate po natin talaga. Pati po yung first contact. Yun po nakita natin na yung transport po will become immaterial. Kasi pagka once na-isolate po natin ang mga positive, ay nakikita po natin magiging safe ang transport po natin.
Well, I would not be around when you meet to make the recommendation, correct? Uh, Ganito na lang, give me a sort of itong, I have here in my pointers kasi yung talking points. Yung the meters or fraction of fraction taken away from the 1 meter, bigyan mo lang ako ng, mas gusto ko yung visual. Maintindihan ko agad para makuha ko rin and I can explain it, I can translate it into words. Kung yung itong recommendation ninyo plus your narrative and the maybe the others, anong gusto nila sabihin. Give me just more, parang syllabus. Ano lang.
Yes, sir. Will po, sir. I will do it, sir.
Yan ang sekretaryan nyo.
Yes, sir. Kagabi po ay sa ating mga at ganoon din po yung nag-application nila yung pagkabawas ng distance dito sa sakyan sa mass transport. Dahil nga po science kung basis natin na 1 meter at hindi yung ating minimum health standard na 1 meter. Yung facial at saka yung ating mass, talagang nag-mitigate lang siya, pero pinaka-importante talaga yung distansya. Yun po, doon sa proposal na 0.75, pagkatapos gagawin pang 0.50, tapos gagawin pang 0.3, medyo delikado na po yun. Sumasang-ayon ako dun sa ating mga health workers, health sectors na ito ay magsisimula ng mga spike at parang roller coaster, babalik na naman po tayo sa pinagmula natin, magiging ECQ na naman. So, sana po talaga ito ay masusing pag-aaralan at science-based. Talagang kailangan makinig tayo sa expert kasi wala man pa naman talagang science na sinasabi na pag nag-violate ka sa less than 1 meter, kung ano mangyayari. Puro mga studies at speculation, pero hindi po sa science-based. So, para po talagang wala nang madisgrasya pa na additional, sa aming pong meeting tomorrow ay papakinggan namin yung argument ng health sector. Sisiguraduhin po namin na maayos po ang magiging presentation sa inyo kung ano pong magiging decision ninyo later, Mr. President. Ayun lang po. Ang sabi lang po ay pinapanigan ko sila Secretary Duque dahil mahirap po kasi na dumating na tayo sa panahon na to. Tapos magsisisi ulit tayo dahil maraming madidisgrasya na naman dahil sa pag-violate ng 1 meter distancing na sinusunod po natin itong minimum na to sa lahat po, sa opisina, sa mall, sa bahay. Pero pagdating po sa sasakyan, biglang nawala na po yung 1 meter. At ito po sa ating close contact na tinatawag, definition. Kapag po 15 minutes ka nakausap mo yung isang positive at less than 1 meter, close contact ka na po. So, babago na naman din yung ating standard. So, kailangan po talaga dito ay consistent po tayo. Hindi lamang sa definition, ito sa kaligtasan naman. Maraming po salamat, Mr. President.
Thank you. So, there will be more talk about this matter when you meet on Wednesday.
Tomorrow.
Wednesday. I have a Wednesday meeting. But anyway, I will not be there. I'll just rely on your report and recommendation. But make the visual diagram for so many meters taken away from the 1 meter distance that we have been imposing. Sabi ko nga kay Bong na if I were you, you act as an opposition. You should do better than the opposition para mawala yung na you're trying to because of our relationship, you were my aide before, that you tend to protect ganon. Sabi ko, why don't you be an opposition and try to to look into all matters of corruption. Kaya man ang battle cry natin, and that is what I intend to do during my last 2 years. So, meron ako ditong report ngayon, galing kay Secretary Guevara na to, from the task force that I commissioned to do the investigation. You know, itong investigation ito was participated in by the COA and the Ombudsman so that we can move faster. Yung coercive powers kasi ng COA, pati mas madali, records mo lang yan, the Ombudsman, we just try to report what's happening to the progress of the report and for him to act accordingly. So dito, they recommended the criminal and administrative dito. Basahin ko na lang. I'll do it in a jiffy. Liability, that's number 8 of the report, page 5 of 6 pages. The totality of the evidence presented before the task force supports the reasonable conclusion that wrongful acts or omissions on the part of certain key corporate officers of the PhilHealth have been committed. A. The negligence exhibited by certain officers of the PhilHealth Executive Committee gives rise to both administrative and criminal liability under the following laws. A Republic Act Number 1319, that's the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices, the Penal Code, sa Revised Penal Code, the malversation of public funds or property, and the illegal use of public funds and property, gross misconduct, gross neglect of duty, under civil service rules. In addition, the same corporate officers may be held liable for certain violation of the National Internal Revenue Code in connection with their failure to withhold taxes on IRM releases. B. While the board chairman and members exhibited negligence in several instances, to wit, their careless approval of ICT procurement, the ratification of the IRM, ito yung advance fund releases on March 2020, and the consent of the modification of judgment in court adjudicated cases, and negligence is somehow mitigated by the active concealment of vital documents and information and the apparent misrepresentation by those who had sought the board's approval. C. The foregoing notwithstanding, the task force recommends that the President strongly admonish and remind the chairman and members of the board of a grave consequence of their action or inaction to PhilHealth Fund, to the government and its coffers, and to the interests of the ordinary people who rely on PhilHealth assistance. Specific recommendations to the President, considering thus, in view of all of the foregoing, the filing of criminal charges against the following person is hereby recommended in relation to various ICT procurement, including the concealment of important information in relation thereto, violation of Section 3A RA number, I read that's the anti-graft 1319 against Vice President, ano ba ito yung S? Senior. Vice President Senior Aragona, OIC Gabuya, and Division Chief Cristongo. Second, violation of Section 3E of RA number 1319. Again, this is the anti-graft law. Against PCEO Morales, SVP Aragona, and OIC Gabuya. Third, violation of Section 3G of RA 1319. Again, another provision of the Republic Act. This is known as the anti-graft law. May na ang mata ko, posensya kayo. The violation of, maliliit kasi dito, violation of Section 3G against PCEO Morales, SVP Aragona, OIC Gabuya, and PRO NCR personnel. And karami pala nito. Of Article 213 of the revised penal code against PCEO Morales, SVP Aragona, and Gabuya in relation to the disbursement of IRM funds prior to the effectivity of the pertinent circular, malversation of public funds or property under Article 217 of the revised penal code against PCEO Morales and SVP Limsiaco. Second is the violation of 3A of RA 1319 against PCEO Morales and EVP COO Jesus, Senior Vice President Limsiaco, and Senior Vice President Pargas in relation to the release of IRM funds despite the lack of sufficient standards of implementation. Again, charges violation of Section 3A again of the anti-graft law against SBP Pargas in relation to the non-withholding taxes of the IRM fund disbursement in violation of Section 251, 255, and 272 of the NIRC, as well as the violation of RA 1061 against PCEO Morales and SVP Limsiaco, and violation of Section 258, 256. I'm sorry, my eyes are failing me. Of the NIRC against Field Health and Corporation. The filing of administrative charges against the following persons in relation to the above described action or omission is likewise recommended. Dishonesty, gross neglect of duty, grave misconduct, falsification of official document, disloyalty to the Republic of the Philippines and to the Filipino, the inefficiency and incompetence in the performance of official duties and or conduct prejudicial to the best interest of the service against PCEO Morales, EVP CEO De Jesus, again Senior Vice President Aragona, Senior Vice President Limsiaco, OIC Gabuya, and Division Chief Crisostomo. Further investigation on following complaints against other officials and employees of the fieldhead as contained in Part 6 of the attached task force fieldhead is hereby recommended. Ayun lang, in a nutshell. I have to read this because on the issue of field health and corruption was really an important issue to the Filipinos and to everybody. And everybody, again, is also placed in jeopardy by the actions of the officials. I'm sorry for them, but they would have to undergo trial. Although they can always prove their guilt beyond reasonable doubt. Pula namang the presumption of innocence still attaches. But the report of another agency says otherwise. So, ganun ho ang nangyari sa PhilHealth. Halos lahat sa board. So, well, I'd like to thank all of you for, again, spending time with me to explain to the people what we have to explain to them, to talk to them. I hope that they would be able to get some, ang nawala lahat yung pinag-usapan natin dito. Because the talk of the town now, dyan sa mga kapihan, ito na yun.